Hey yo, thanks for clicking. Welcome to Time In with your host, Ricardo Lungus. With me, as always, is the sparkling Tommy Crenshaw. How you doing, Tommy?
Thanks, Ricardo, for the sparkling introduction. I do use sparkling toothpaste. It's good.
Well, that's how you got those pearly whites. You always got them pearly whites. You smile, and your smile lights up the room because the lights are reflecting off your teeth.
Thank you. And you know what I found a trick is you get sea monkeys and you put the sea monkeys in the toothpaste. That way they're actively like miniature merchant marine creatures. Scrubbing your tooth like they're hanging off of a ladder, cleaning the windows of a tower, and then one of the ropes starts to fall, and then everyone freaks out watching the guy hang there, and you got like a bunch of people, like 30 people staring up, and what are they going to do? The guy ends up falling, and then they have guilty consciences for the rest of their lives because they didn't reach out and catch the guy. That's what's going on in my mouth.
Hey, you got a complicated mouth, Tommy. That's all I'm saying. You got a bunch of crazy, wild stuff going on. But somebody who doesn't have a complicated mouth is a longtime friend, Garry Leif-O'Donnell. How you doing, Gary?
Hey, Ricardo. Hey, thank you so much. The uncomplicated. How do you say that word? Uncomplicated.
Uncomplicated. Yeah.
Uncompromisable.
Yeah. My tongue is complicated. That's the problem. But yeah, I don't get a lot of recognition for the uncomplicatedness of my mouth, and I appreciate you noticing that because, I think about it all the time. I try to be humble, but yeah, it is an uncomplicated mouth.
Hey, I know you, Gary. You have an uncomplicated mouth. Hey, and I recognize that. I appreciate that.
I really thank you so much.
But we got an interesting topic going on today. It happened in recent news. The University of Texas and Oklahoma University. They're in the Big 12, and they requested to be part of the SEC. Now, it's a big deal. They're coming to the SEC. It's a crazy times. And
let me make sure for those of you who are just tuning in and may not follow sports, the SEC is the Southeastern Conference.
Oh, thank you, Tommy, for clarifying. There's people that don't know that. Very true. Yeah.
You got a lot of people listening to this show that don't know about sports. Is that what's happening?
I mean, people come here to get their sports knowledge. And
I just saw that you guys were the number 2 sports talk show in Milwaukee. I just saw that the other day.
That's because we not only do we talk sports, we educate sports.
Yeah, and that's a great town, just not a great sports sandwich town. But we don't have to go down that one. But I was just saying that the SEC for some people is a securities enlightenment
exchange, Security Exchange Commission.
The money peoples. And there's also like the salesmen of eels committee. They deliver like eels to sushi bars and stuff like that. There's other SECs out there, but most people know what we're talking about. It is the Southeastern, not Southeast, but Southeastern.
Southeastern. But you bring up a good point there, right? Southeastern, right? And I know my geography pretty well in the eastern United States. That it's east of the Mississippi River. You know what that is? That big river runs right down the country. Yeah. You know what? Texas and Oklahoma, not east of the Mississippi. So this is already. I know we're jumping right into this thing here, and I don't know where you guys stand. But I'm glad we're talking about this because this has got me riled up.
Come on, it's the Pecos. It's not the Mississippi that they're talking about. It's the Pecos.
No, this is the definition of eastern United States is east of the Mississippi, and Texas and Oklahoma trying to come into the Southeastern Conference, as you so eloquently defined its meaning. That is destroying the geographical definition of what this
it's already been
is.
done because Texas A&M and Missouri are west of the Mississippi.
And I got something to say about that too. But now we're going to end up with more people west of the Mississippi soon than east of the Mississippi. So what are you going to do? Rename the whole conference? Like I get you want to rename a baseball team or a football team. You're going to rename a whole conference. And look, here's the thing: Texas does this. They come into a conference like the Southwest Conference has been there for 80 years. They come in. Guess what? Rename the conference a Big 12. Great. They destroy an 80-year tradition of football. Now they're not even happy staying in that relationship. They're gonna just leave those guys like they're garbage all of a sudden. And now guess what? You don't got 12 teams anymore. They're going to have to destroy. They've destroyed 2 conferences. What do you think they're going to do to the SEC? They're going to destroy that too.
I see what you're saying, Gary. And to that, I think it's a coordinated attack, personally. I think it's a coordinated attack.
Yeah.
And the reason
absolutely.
Not for the same reasons that you're thinking, Gary, because I think this is a coordinated attack by the greatest football coach of all time.
Bear Bryant's dead.
Mr. Nick Saban.
Whoa, hang on now.
No. Mr. Nick, Nicholas, like rat.
You're starting another argument here. You're telling me
it's not an argument. It's not an argument. You got to just qualify it. The greatest living football coach of all time.
I'm saying of all time. I'm just saying he is the greatest coach
he's
of
not
all
better
time.
than Bear Bryant.
But Bo Schembechler. I mean, come on. You're telling me
Hey, that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying,
No, it is. It's 100% here. Yeah, this is important. You can't just get away with saying
Eddie
that.
Robinson. What about Eddie
This
Robinson?
is a #2 sports talk show in Milwaukee. You can't just say Nick Saban's the best football. Paul Bear Bryant.
What about Paul Brown?
All I'm saying is
that
Nick Saban, he's orchestrating this all from behind the curtain. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, you're saying he's a communist?
Nick Saban is a football incubus. He thrives on all this football stuff and makes him more powerful. Like he got the transfer portal and all that. Now that's working in his favor. He's got all these like the kids are getting the endorsements. All that's working in his favor. He's bringing in Texas and Oklahoma, even though he's not saying this stuff publicly. He's behind the thing, and all this football power is coming in, and he's sucking it in. It's keeping them young. That's what it's doing. He's sucking this football energy, and I think it's because one reason is because he couldn't make it in the NFL. So what he's doing now, he's combining all the great college football programs. He's trying to get all the SEC, and eventually he's gonna break Alabama off by itself and start his own conference and it's gonna be the Alabama conference. It's just Alabama. It's not even gonna be anybody else. He's gonna break off. It's gonna be the Alabama conference, and he's gonna reign supreme.
This could happen. This could work. If the Alabama, I see what you're saying, and this makes sense. Nick Saban, not the second greatest football coach of all time, okay, but he is very manipulative. I'll give you that, and I could see him doing something like absorbing the University of South Alabama Panthers, absorbing the what's that Buccaneers team? Where are they from down there? Tuscaloosa. They got another little team. Shelton State Buccaneers. He might absorb all into one big team, and then he could split off and do essentially scrimmages. But yeah, one team conference. I think he possibly could even try with the players. The players getting compensated now. He might even be able to.
That's a showcase. That's not a one team. You're talking about a showcase.
No, but here's what I think Ricardo's getting at, right? You could take that team, the Alabama Conference, which sounds silly on the surface, but then parlay that. We know he failed at the Dolphins and he failed at NFL, but he could turn Alabama into a NFL team.
That's what he wants
by default. Yeah, and then he's back in the big. He's back on the big stage. That's where he wants to be.
He wants to do that. Yeah, there's no question in my mind that he's trying to either compete directly with the NFL or get into the NFL. Doing it like
definitely the latter.
What's the last president's name?
Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump. Thank you. I don't know why I forgot his name, but
he's a forgettable fellow.
He went and he tried to get in the NFL like 30 years ago, and they said no, you ain't getting in. So he went and bought a USFL team. It was the New Jersey Generals.
I remember that.
So and then he tried to take the NFL on, and then he won a lawsuit, which was just, that was just on the surface of he didn't win anything.
No, he never does.
So the point is that Nick Saban, if he can't get in the NFL, then he's going to try to compete with him. So college football could compete with the NFL. There's no question.
We're gonna see. I'm gonna tell you right now. We're gonna see Alabama Crimson Tide play against an NFL team and the next decade. It'll be an exhibition. I don't know how he's going to frame it.
He doesn't need to.
We're right now we see college teams drafting into the NFL. We're going to see Nick Saban because he's a genius. He's going to figure out how to rearrange it so NFL players get drafted back into college teams. I'm telling you right now.
You're on to something like that. I mean, I think it won't happen exactly that way. But here's the thing. How many stadiums around the country, the college game, have 100,000 or more seats?
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
You got you got Tennessee, you got Michigan, you got Ohio State, you got LSU, Alabama. I mean, USC's got
a bunch of.
Florida, Oregon. Yeah, I think there's a ton of them. There's probably about 130 of them.
You got the Beaver Stadium in Pennsylvania. It's like 106,000 people.
So you've got Happy Valley, and so how many in the NFL? 100,000 you have.
In the NFL,
yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head. I know you got
zero.
Yeah, absolutely zero.
You got none. No, you got none.
Goose
you
egg.
You don't have
well,
that. Yeah, it's a goose egg. So the point is that college football.
You got 7 at least in college with over 100,000. And here's the thing: everybody thinks Alabama. It's not more than that. It's 7. Right? Now listen. And Alabama's the lowest of all of them. Alabama's ranked number 7. 100,077 people fit in that stadium. I tried to get in there. One time I was 100,078th person. They wouldn't let me in.
Yeah.
I got a skybox. They put somebody else in my skybox. They're like, no, we're capped at 100,077 people. Right?
And that's if you were to take that to some other countries, it's double the size. You ever seen the size of a college football fan? I mean, there's some polkas. I mean, I definitely listen. I can't judge myself because I got some extra what they call that flubbery, but I mean, you can't sit like in an airline seat in a stadium. So if you put that in say Japan, the Olympics that's a 200,000 seat stadium. I mean, think about that. I mean, what if the SEC decides they're going to go after the Japanese fan because it's smaller and get more people in there and start bringing them in for games, flying a luxury event.
I mean, basically what you're saying, you're going to start turning the stadiums into basically like airline seats like they got nowadays, where each airline seats keep getting smaller and smaller, and they're just packing more people on top of more people. If that starts to happen, which it could, people everybody just wants the money. They ain't in there for like keeping the people happy. It turned me completely off. I like my comfort.
Yeah.
I like comfort.
I like comfort too, but I would not argue. Like, let's say, the largest NFL stadium we all know is MetLife Stadium, right, in New Jersey. Yeah, it's only got 82,500 people. Yeah. Okay, it's 20,000 people less than the smallest large college stadium, which is Alabama at 100,000, right? So the largest NFL stadium is 20,000 people smaller than the smallest large stadium of college.
Right.
If they do the airline thing and they're going to have to squish down the seats by like a third to get 100,000 people in the same, because they're not going to build a new stadium. There's not enough money in the NFL to build a whole new stadium. So they're going to.
Oh no, that's never been done. No,
they're going to turn down the seats, right? They build a new stadium for the NFL. Guess what? It sits empty. Nobody even wants to play there, right? They cannot build stadiums for the NFL. It doesn't work. We all know that. But think about this. You might get less room, but you're going to get a little tray on the back of the seat in front of you to put your hot dog and your beer and stuff on. That I would go for. I would be down for that if they're going to go the full route.
Well, I mean, you had a stewardess come by, and she comes by and she's kind of attractive.
Right,
she's like,
way better than a hot dog.
Yeah. She's like, you want something to drink? But then she puts her hand over the rim of the cup, and you're like, you just put your hand on the rim of the cup, and I'm drinking from this stuff.
Do you want to lick her hand though? Maybe you do. Maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know.
We try to keep it family friendly here. We gotta keep it family friendly here, Gary.
That's a good point though, right? Because if they're gonna do that, what better stadium to do than the Jets, right? If you're gonna squish it down like the airlines, you might as well start with MetLife.
Well, I mean,
right. But it's funny because you're gonna make smaller seats for like an airline for the Jets. But also, guess who else plays in that stadium? The Giants. So it doesn't make any sense to put tinier seats. It is a very interesting dichotomy going on there. You got the airlines, you got Giants, smaller seats, bigger teams.
Yeah. It makes no sense at all to do such a thing. I mean, and one thing, the NFL, they like to be innovative. They always like to build like the fancy domes and whatnot. And you can't build a dome to sit a whole bunch of people. It's just not, you can't do it. Even the Superdome, you can't get like like over 100,000 people in there, and that's the thing, though. That's the thing. They're not going to build an open stadium anymore. The NFL ain't going to do it. I mean, because the stadium thing is a college thing. Like people you go out to a baseball thing. You go out to the ball game. You're out there in the weather and whatnot. The NFL likes to put you in comfort like the NBA. They like to put you inside, you out of the sun, nice air condition and whatnot. They got to lull you into a false sense of security so that, they can take all your money. And so, hey, that reminds me that it just popped in my mind. I bet you Nick Saban, when he breaks into the Alabama conference, is going to have a dome.
Oh,
wait, he's not gonna have it. No, he's going open air. Yeah, he's going open air.
What if he moves the team? I mean,
that would be just the kind of thing he would do. That's just what he would do.
What if he moves? What if he moves the team to Miami? He was.
He's trying to get back in there.
Yeah, because he couldn't say, "You failed at Miami." He'd say, "I'm going to prove you wrong. Yeah. I'm going to take Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm going to take them to the Super Bowl in Miami. They're going to play in Miami. They're going to be in Miami, and everybody's going to be fine with that." I mean, think about all the Alabama fans all over the country. They're not just centered in Alabama. I mean, you got Alabama fans in Alaska,
everywhere.
Everywhere. Zimbabwe has
it's a known fact. Alabama has more fans in the world than any other team of any sport.
Well, I don't think that's accurate, but
it's true. It's true. That's why they have this.
All I know.
You can argue all you want.
All I know is that I'm saying this is that this whole Texas, Oklahoma coming to the SEC is starting the tipping point for Saban's takeover of all football. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that. I think it's probably what's going on there. But American football in general has less fans altogether. Now, this is what makes Alabama probably the best position to do this takeover because, American football has estimated 400 million fans out of the whole world. Compare that to soccer with 3.5 billion. Okay, every single sport, soccer, cricket, field hockey, tennis, volleyball, ping pong, for God's sake, baseball, golf, they all have more fans than American football. But Alabama, somehow, 4 billion fans.
I don't buy into that statistic.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of people are fans of Alabama. They don't even like football.
There's a lot of Alabama fans out there. There's no doubt about it. They're big ever since the Joe Namath days and the Stablers. Who were some of the other back in the Gene Stalling eras of the Alabama program? That was the golden years for them, I think. And
Gene Stallings,
yeah,
that was the golden era of Alabama.
Yeah, definitely was. It was him. Yeah. And Mike Price was another great one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Who would argue with that? That's what everybody thinks of.
Yeah,
Gene Stallings era.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. So
but I think there was another guy too. I can't.
Shula. Yeah, Shula. Oh, that's a Miami connection too. Shula. Shula's son, Mike Shula.
Okay, so you're talking about moving the team to Miami.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, I don't know if you're being facetious or what. I could see Nick Saban doing something crazy. That's pretty crazy, but that would obviously destroy. You could say there's fans everywhere, but we all know that would destroy the heart and soul and the fabric of the Southeastern Conference. Why? Because you got rivalries. There's so much in treasure, but
here's the thing about you got to understand the state of Florida. People either love it or they hate it. The concept Florida man, crazy thing. I talked about the time there was in Orlando in a shopping mall, and so a naked guy, scrape his butt across the floor. There's things like that happen. I've seen a lot of things in Florida. I've seen a clown take off his leg and throw it at a child, what like a child human? It was a chimpanzee, and threw it at this child chimpanzee, and the chimpanzee's arm came off, And it was just like disturbing. And I'm like, somebody said, no big deal. It's Florida. So like stuff like that happens. A lot of dismembering things and flying things.
I get that. Like, that's fine. But the point is, like, it would be disastrous. That's a negative thing if he was to move Alabama to anywhere.
You ever seen a 2-headed chipmunk get attacked by a 3-headed squirrel?
No, I haven't.
Go to
seen
Florida.
that.
You'll see it.
I can appreciate that. I can really appreciate that point. It's a good point. This is why you are the number 2 sports talk radio host in Milwaukee. You got a lot of good points as they relate to sports. But if he moved the team to Miami, that's disastrous. But that's probably not going to happen. But what will happen? They're going to have to reorganize the divisions within the SEC. And you're going to have the same thing that happened like back in the 90s when they expanded the 2 divisions. For a while, you had, like in like 92, you had Tennessee and Auburn. They were really getting heated up. Everybody thinks Alabama-Auburn, which is great. That's a great rivalry. Tennessee-Auburn was turning into a great rivalry. Rivalry is what makes college sports. This is what makes all sports, but that is what makes college sports is the rivalries. And then they reorganized these divisions, expanded a couple. You lost the Tennessee-Auburn rivalry, and it's never been right since.
That's one of the greatest rivalries in sports. Yeah, everyone was really sitting on the edge of their seats for that one. I mean, give me a break.
It's not about everybody. It's about the fans of those 2 teams were really, that was important to them. The potential is there now. You bring in 2 other teams, they're going to have to expand the divisions or make a new division. They're going to have to do that. What's going to happen? You may lose the Alabama-Auburn rivalry. You may lose. Lose Alabama, Georgia.
What about
nobody cares? The fans are going to care. It's going to disrupt everything.
What about the Pawtucket Wind Sox? Their rivalry with the Altoona Pin Breakers. Come on now, get into the weeds here.
No, it's not the weeds because it's not important to me. But guess what? It's important to those fans. And if you alienate the individual fans of any team, you're gonna slowly disintegrate the fabric that is college sports, which maybe that's back to Ricardo's point. Maybe that is the whole plan is if you disintegrate the fabric, then they're gonna have to reintegrate with NFL or whatever it is. Like maybe they're trying to destroy it, but it's definitely bad.
You heard it here first, folks. The integration of Texas and Oklahoma into the SEC is the downfall of all football for the future.
Yeah, all football.
And that's the end of the game. Thanks for clicking. I'm Ricardo Lungus with Tommy Crenshaw and Garry Leif-O'Donnell, TTFN.